An exciting day here at the University of Rhode Island. Archie Miller was named the 21st head coach of the Rhode Island men's basketball team. Coach, first of all, thank you for being here. Thanks for choosing URI, and hopefully the last 2 days, the chaos has subsided a bit and you're ready to call Rhode Island home.
Yeah, you have to roll with the punches, I think, upon touching down and walking into the situation. First couple of days are always a little bit hectic, but you have to take your time with things. And I think as each minute, like I told our players, each day that goes by, I get a little bit easier. You get a little bit more familiar with your surroundings, and I'm enjoying it so far. It's unbelievable people.
That's excellent. Have you been able to take in campus a little bit, take on the environment?
Just a little bit. You know, got in, was able to experience the Ryan Center and, you know, really our player operation, what we're doing over here. And then today on the way to the press conference, took in the campus. It's a beautiful looking campus. I usually try to take in the campus on foot. That way I kind of know what I'm talking about when I'm with a recruit or whatnot. I like to have a little personal touch with the school, but it looks like an unbelievable setting to go to be a part of.
Yeah, you talked about it a little bit in your press conference this morning, but the history of the basketball program. You know, you even talked about Frank Keeney a bit, all the way up through Dave Cox and Dan Hurley and the last couple coaches here. Is it a little weird though, saying we now when talking about Rhode Island? I know, you know, this is you've been in here before as a visitor, but now this is home for you.
It's definitely a little bit unique. I will say you get over it quick when it becomes your home. You know, whether you're coaching at University of Dayton, you're coaching at Indiana, that place morphs into you. And, you know, I expect that to be the case here at URI. I'm excited to be here. I am thoroughly impressed, not only with the people, but our tradition. And, you know, I think there's some tremendous coaches, there's tremendous players, there were great teams. And I saw with my own two eyes as I competed against this program when Dan was here, and also felt this fan base, you know, on the other side. So I'm anxious to get them on my side this time around.
Love that, love that. A little bit before we go into basketball and things of that nature, can you talk a little bit about that hiring process here with Rhode Island? Maybe the relationship you formed with Thor, the president, and kind of just inevitably over the last couple of days becoming the head coach here at Rhode Island.
Yeah, I think, you know, as I spent my year out, you know, you kind of envision or dream of where the next place that I could go. I hope I have this in place and this and that in place. And, you know, the first step was good people and, you know, familiarity with people. You know, if you're able to walk into a situation where you have comfort eases the transition. And, you know, my relationship with Thor stemmed back from our time together in the Atlantic 10. I always gravitated to him, whether it be conference meetings or we're here, they're here. He's a, you know, tremendous guy. And, you know, upon my first learning of the opportunity and the interest, you know, I was blown away, you know, right away in terms of their aspirations and their full-blown commitment that came through. And I think the thing that stood out the most is alignment. You have to have everything in place from the top to the bottom, and that starts not only with our president, Mark Parlange, but it goes through your board, and it hands down to Thor and his staff, and it goes to the head coach all the way through. And everybody has to be lock in step in terms of that alignment and the vision and the commitment. And when you have that, you can be successful. And I think that's the thing that attracted me the most.
Yeah, you talk a little bit about, again, the relationship with Thor, the president, but also one thing you noted in the press conference was seeing the governor there today, Governor Dan McKee from the state of Rhode Island. You had a couple good one-liners in there too when talking about the governor, but what does that say about maybe the commitment from the state of Rhode Island, right? This is probably your first time here again calling this home, but to see the governor there with the president and the athletic director and to see a Keeney Blue in front of you, the commitment from the university and the state.
It meant a lot. You know, I think the state of Rhode Island, New England in general, tremendous sports. The fabric of competition is up this way. There's championship aspirations at all levels. But really to be ingrained at URI in the state of Rhode Island, to represent that, it's important. You know, I think you want people to be proud of your program. You want people to be excited. There should be energy behind it. You want them to sort of want to be you know, a version of themselves. So I understand where we're at. I think it's unbelievable that Governor McKee came. I think it shows that, you know, from a state perspective, it's a big deal. And I'm getting the feeling right now that this program means a lot to a lot of people.
Yeah, let's switch gears a little bit now to some basketball, but you mentioned your time in the Atlantic 10 at Dayton. 5 21 seasons at Dayton, 4 NCAA tournaments, a couple top finishes in the league, and then, of course, the Elite 8 run. But what does it take to get that success in the league like the Atlantic 10?
Well, it's a difficult league to compete in. I think there's tremendous coaches, there's always tremendous players, but it's pretty much I would consider it the most underappreciated conference in basketball. It really is. I mean, when you look at the runs that were made from our conference over the last 25 or 30 years, when you look at the players who have come out of this league, the coaches who have coached in this league, the fan bases that you play in, it's incredible. You can be as good as you want to be in this type of a league. But I think, to sustain success, you need unbelievable support. You need a tremendous philosophy, and you can't deviate. I think the big thing for us as we get started is we don't want to skip steps to try and hurry. Because I think, when you skip steps and you try to hurry, you're constantly trying to repair yourself. And I think we have to build it piece by piece, from our coaching staff that gets put in place to the players that we have, most importantly, that we're getting off to a great start with them. And then as we recruit and envision players to come and help us, can they compete for championships? And I think as you get going from a few cycles, and your system and your philosophy is able to cycle through your players, you get a little older, you bring more players to the table that understand your goals. You should have an opportunity to compete for that at Rhode Island. That's why I'm here. I don't believe URI at all takes a backseat to anybody. And but when you have it, as a coach, the thing you crave and the thing that you are so proud of if it takes place is the carryover.
Sure. That
winning mentality, guys who have played in big games, won big games, that spills over to your younger players, that carries over. And I think that the carryover, built to last, the opportunity to sustain that success is doable here. And to me, that's our expectation.
One of the premier places to play in the Atlantic 10 is the Ryan Center. You had to come in here as a visiting coach, which has been a storyline, but maybe taking it in now today and realizing that this is your home arena and you don't have to deal with the Rhodey ruckus against you now, but they get your back. Is that something that's exciting for you?
It is. I think any time that you have a home court advantage, it's a huge thing. Not everybody has that in college basketball. And we're very fortunate, not only with a great fan base, but we got unbelievable students that get this place jumping. I felt it. And it's going to be nice, but taking it in without a game, usually as a coach, you come in, you focus on the game, you're not really worried about the building. Coming in here by myself and opening the doors and looking at things, it's a beautiful facility. It's one of the nicest facilities that you can play in. It's a great setting, for college basketball to be played in. And to us, we want to make our home court not only a great home court, we want to make it an event. We want to make it a thing to do. And we want this to be the place to be when we play. And that's not easy to do. We're going to have to earn that. Our program has to perform, and our product has to be good on the floor. But I don't think you can get anywhere near close to that if you don't think that way.
Now, one thing you talked about, one on Twitter when you first addressed that you were taking this job, and then this morning at your press conference, was how there's a little bit of a process, though, here, right?
Yeah.
That you want to be able not so much to start small necessarily, but you can't have those large expectations right away. And there's a reward to kind of trusting the process unfold in front of you, right?
Yeah, there's no question about it. There's so many things that have to be in place to be successful. I mean, there really is. There's so many things that have to be in place for a guy like me to feel good about our program. And that's from the hiring of our coaches, that's from the implementation of how we will lift weights, to how we do individual instruction, to what our summer program is going to look like. Academically, this is how we handle, our studies. I mean, there's so many things that you want to get going in a rhythm, before you feel good. So when there's change, there's also transition. There's change. Both of them are awkward. And I think your players are looking at you right now, asking, how's this impact me? I'm looking at them and wondering, what do they think? We have to get through that, and it's not an easy transition. But I do believe we'll work very hard to honor the process of earning their trust. I think we have to earn the right to be good in terms of how we, take the daily approach. But we're not going to deviate, from the process. And I think when we're good, we'll be good. We'll earn the right to be good.
Yeah, one of those big, in terms of putting your program together the way that you want it is getting a quality of player that is your expectation. What, in your mind, if you could finish this sentence, what is an Archie Miller type player that you're looking to recruit here for the University of Rhode Island?
Really just identify, number one, how competitive they are. If we're going to be a program that's identified, as a hard group to play against, hard players, you got to be able to compete. You can't be afraid to compete. You have to be willing to give it, put it all on the line and sometimes not get what you want. But competitive spirit is something that's essential. I also think there's a certain skill level we're looking for. We have to become a program that can shoot it. We have to become a program that can really play with great pace on offense. And we're going to have to be a team that plays smart. But I think from a style perspective that way, we're always on the hunt for versatility and skill. We want competitive people who want to win and, want to compete. And I think when you get a group of competitors and you can put them together, especially nowadays with the skill level, and, to me, size is overblown at times.
Sure.
The game is changing. But, I think for us to be good, we have to get guys who really, really understand that, to be truly special, you have to embrace competition.
Now, the transfer portal has been a huge topic of conversation in college basketball, in particular for a first-year head coach in a new environment. What do you make of the portal, the new ways the portal is being used, and maybe how are you planning to use the transfer portal to field the team here?
Yeah, I would put it like this. I don't take it personal. I think college basketball in general is in a new way of life. I think the transfer portal has opened up avenues for faster change. Guys that aren't comfortable one place can go another. And I think number one, for our current players, I want to know where they stand. I want to know their expectations. I want to know their, what their experience has been like, and then I want to explain to them, my philosophy. And we have to have that individual dialogue, before anything can really be set in stone. And we're going to work hard to figure those things out. But I don't take the portal personal. I also will approach the portal very aggressively. I don't aspire to be a coach that has 9 or 10 transfers on my team. I don't think that's the way we want to build. But I do think there's an opportunity for you to stay old, to stay talented, with the right pieces in place and in the right moments, with the right opportunities. You can really bolster your team. And in some cases, a lot of people would say, boy, you got your work cut out for you going to a new place at a new school. All the guys are going to transfer. I'd also look back to them and say, okay, but I also have the advantage of having a much larger net to recruit from than a coach 5 years ago who took over a job and trying to replace prospects who are late signees. I mean, there's a much different ball game in terms of building a roster when you get a job. So I'm excited about that.
Now, the other side of recruiting is just the traditional recruiting platform. You spend a lot of your time coaching in the Midwest. Now you find yourself in New England. Certainly, a ton of talent to recruit up here, but maybe this is a staffing question too. How are you and the staff that you're going to assemble going to recruit this area, maybe just the country as a whole?
The New England base, the East Coast and the Mid-Atlantic footprint of the Atlantic 10 is our breadbasket. That's our baby. From high school prospects from Washington, D.C., all the way up to Boston, New York City. Start looking at Connecticut, the state of Rhode Island, importantly, is a place that, we have to identify and be good. If there's a guy in the state of Rhode Island, we got to be good. But when you look at the New England footprint of where Rhode Island exists, when you think East Coast, some of the great players who have come here from all over the East Coast, and then you look at Atlantic 10 in terms of where those kids travel to when they play in games in conference, they can see 50, 60, 70%. That's going to be our breadbasket. Now, me, as a coach, growing up, I wasn't always in the Midwest. And I started in the ACC. I've been out in the West Coast. I've been able to, obviously, be in the state of Ohio. And sometimes those relationships carry with you forever. I hope that's the case. But our staff will be built around recruiting emphasis, East Coast in general. And I would think that, depending on how we align, I feel like we can recruit the best players in the country at Rhode Island.
Now, I take it too, just given yourself as a basketball junkie, that you're thinking about this now. So your staff might not necessarily be in place yet, but recruiting and the portal and things of that nature, from the second that you become Rhode Island's head coach, this is something you're already thinking about.
Yeah, I think you spend a year out like I did. You envision how you want to do things and build, and you probably dream of staffs that you like to work with. The problem is you just don't know where you'll land.
Sure.
And I think once you land, it becomes a little bit more crystal clear about what you're going to need. And for me, I'm going to recruit the best coaches just like I recruit the best players. Some of these guys right now currently could be coaching in games. Some of these guys could be in different leagues. But, there's also the reach out approach where, I have to get to know people as well. But I have an idea in my mind how I want our staff. And priority one obviously is always recruiting, but priority two is, can they handle the day-to-day aspects of what I'm going to ask them to do for our players? If you can't maximize your players, if you can't, relate to your players, you're going to really struggle as a staff. We need to have a great balance of not only experience and recruiting, but unbelievable skills, in terms of their expertise of dealing with people. So, yeah, I think your staff is ever evolving. The one thing I have learned over the course of my time, I will not rush. No one's going to speed me up, and I'm not going to feel panicked because I need more help. I'm going to make sure, however long it takes, the right people for what we're trying to do are in place. And if that takes a month, maybe a month and a half, it can. I'll man the ship down by myself if I have to.
Love that. Love that. Playing, of course, stranger to the Atlantic 10 like we talked about, but scheduling in this type of conferences has its own unique feel, right? You got to be able to find, especially in an era of net and quad ones through quad fours, things of that nature, where it seems like maybe that goal line's moving a little bit for, a league like the Atlantic 10. How will you attack scheduling here?
Scheduling for us is going to be vital. It's the second most important thing other than recruiting every single day. You can't just schedule in the off season. You have to schedule year round. And, at URI, one of the things we're blessed with is a league that you can obtain an at-large bid. This isn't a one-bid league. This could be a 3-bid league, a 4-bid league. At one point in time in my career, it was a 6-bid league.
That's right.
But scheduling is important that number one, you understand the net, the system, and the philosophy. Number two, you also have to understand, from a brand standpoint, the opponents that you want to be in the same playing field with. And then we have to gauge ourselves of being able to get into exempt events and do things that not only provide our fans opportunities to go places and see places, but getting neutral site games against good teams. That's probably the answer. And scheduling is a very, very important part. Our hope is, and I think we did a great job of this in Atlantic 10 for 6 years that we were there, is be able to get home opponents that our fans want to see, is to be able to go and play people at different places. In terms of road opponents, find the neutral setting opportunities that give us great, brand ability. It gives us unbelievable showcase, and then continue on with our traditional rivalries of Providence and Brown. And we'll see how we can build it, but it's an art form. It's an art form of building a schedule. You don't have to build a Power 5 schedule to be okay in the Atlantic 10, but you got to know what you're doing in terms of the numbers, the metrics game, analytics. And not only did I enjoy scheduling at Dayton because I thought it was hard, but I also, was proud that we were able to position ourselves for at-large bids because of it. And being out this year and watching the net and understanding more analytics, you understand sort of what you're looking for in a certain opponent with a certain number. So I think we'll be strategic with it, but no question, I think one of the things is we have to drive home is we have to drive a non-conference schedule over time that allows us to get at-large bids.
Yeah, you mentioned Providence College. Of course, that's a huge topic for Rhode Island and PC and for the Ocean State in general. But you have a connection with Ed Cooley down in the capital city. Can you tell us a little bit more about that, maybe where that relationship starts, and if he reached out? I know he did when you got the job.
Well, the first part of Coach Cooley is when he was an assistant for Coach Skinner. Obviously, Coach Skinner was unbelievable here. He was unbelievable at BC. When I was a young assistant in the ACC coming up, Ed was Al's assistant at BC. Well, my aunt, Dard, is not only the men's basketball academic advisor, she's also a professor at BC. So that sort of started a relationship early through the time of going up. Obviously, Ed's time at Providence, he's done a great job. And, first competition was in the NCAA tournament. I was at Dayton, he was at Providence, and we were able to beat a great team. I didn't think they played as well as they possibly could that night, but we had a great win against a great Providence team in the NCAA tournament. And then that off season, I joined Ed and my brother Sean with USA Basketball, and I was a part of the Under-19 World Championship gold medal winning team that practiced in Colorado Springs for about 3.5 weeks straight, and we went to Greece for about another 3. We spent literally every waning moment together. And I will tell you, when you're competing for your country, and you have an opportunity to win a gold medal, there's a serious approach to that. So Ed and I were kind of joined by the hip, and since then, we've always been not only great friends in basketball, but just great friends in general. I'm so proud of him and what he's been able to do. Where they're at right now as a program is, incredible run for Providence and his team. But I also understand where I'm at now.
That's
we
right.
won't stop being friends, but I know Ed, and he's going to try and stomp me out when we play. And I think he knows me, that when we play, I'm definitely going to try and do my job, which is to beat Providence. And it'll be a healthy relationship. I don't ever see it being impacted by games, but on game day, that'll be a different feeling.
Like that a lot. A couple things. We just want to ask you some questions from the fans too before we let you go, Coach. The first thing is, you talked about it a lot today in the press conference about getting your boots on the ground, I think was your quote, and really getting out there and getting to know people and getting to build those relationships with alumni in particular and the fan base here at Rhody. What are some of those things that you're envisioning that can kind of get people really excited to be here on game day and make that game day feel, kind of season around?
I think you have to own the program. It's yours. So as much as you want them to just come up and show up and support you, they have to want to be there. They have to love you. They have to love your approach. They have to know your kids. They have to know you and your staff. So we got to get out there. I mean, I think number one, the campus community's got to see us and our players as a part of the fabric of this community. They really do. And we have to do a great job with our students. I mean, they have to be as good as anywhere in college basketball. I've seen them. I know they can do it. And we're going to make this, special experience for them. Getting out there, dealing with them on campus, bringing them into practices, talking to them about certain things that we can do for different types of big games. For our community, though, this area here and Kingston, and then you look at Newport and move into Providence, I'm sure we have a heavy alumni base there where they're coming from. So nothing's real far. So it isn't like I can't get into communities when they need me to come and speak, or it isn't like I'm not going to be moving around town, with my family or my wife and we have dinner. It's easy for me to be able to be out in this community. So I just want to be one of them. I just want to, in general, I want things to be very comfortable with me. And I think as we continue to go, we can be a very favorable option for people to want to deal with, So we'll try to take it day by day, but can't go hide if you want people to come in here and support you and be there when you need them the most. If the only time they see is on game day, and I think same with your players. Our players can't be the only guys they see on game day. We have to do a great job of getting them in the community. We have to do a great job of getting the community here to deal with them as well. Camps, all kind of different things. So, you got a lot of big dreams. You got to put it all together.
Now, Coach, I think you had won over the fan base when we signed you to come to Rhody, but wearing that suit coat into the press conference.
Make sure that the blue is the proper name.
That's right.
Keeney Blue.
Keeney Blue, right? Now, tell us the story behind that suit jacket, because you won over the fan base by wearing that in this morning.
Well, it's a long story, but I had a clothing guy send me that coat because I had a lot of red in my day, and he sent this blue coat. He said, "I think it'll pop on you," and I said, "I will never wear this coat ever." At that time, to me, it looked like it was a North Carolina blue, and I don't wear Carolina blue, and I don't know why that coat was just kind of sitting there, and all of a sudden I started looking at Rhode Island as an option, and I said, never know, maybe I would wear that. And then it actually came to fruition that we were going to wear it at the press conference because it was Keeney Blue. It would make sense, and I'll probably retire it. I will probably retire it, and it won't come out again. Maybe for a big game.
Okay.
Maybe it'll come back out. But hopefully on the sideline I can stay in my coaching sideline attire.
Sure.
But we'll see how that goes.
Excellent. One last thing for you. I think you heard it this morning when you walked in. The cheerleaders were doing it. Around campus we have like a mantra, and when we say Rhody, 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 do you know the response yet?
Rhody, 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 go Rhody.
No, it's Rhody, Rhody,
Rhody,
Rhody.
Rhody, Rhody.
So I'll say it first.
Go ahead.
Right? Rhody, Rhody, Rhody. You respond. Rams, Rams, Rams.
Gotcha.
Anytime I say Rhody, you say Rams.
Gotcha.
All right, ready? Rhody, Rhody, Rhody.
Rams, Rams, Rams.
Rhody, Rhody, Rhody.
Rams, Rams, Rams.
Rhody,
Rams,
Rhody,
Rams,
Rhody.
Rams.
Woo.
I got that one. I got that now.
That's Archie Miller. He's the 21st head coach at the University of Rhode Island. Coach, welcome to the Ocean State. Thanks so much for taking some time today.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Yeah, you got it.